Hi, everybody. Jim Graham here for Beyond the Cage, presented by Fight Chicks. On the line, we have a special guest joining us. He is UFC lightweight fighter, the Detroit superstar, Daron Cruickshank. Daron, thanks for coming back on the show.
Hey, anytime. You know I love being on the show.
All right, first question, of course, I got to ask you, your fight against KJ Noons, it didn't end the way you were planning it. You got hurt after 2 eye pokes by KJ Noons, ended up hurting that eye of yours. There was an injury sustained to it, and can you kind of talk people through what exactly got hurt on your eye? And obviously, you've now had surgery to correct that as well.
So the second poke really damaged my tear duct in the corner of my eye, and in that I couldn't see anything and all that, and that's why I didn't continue, because I couldn't see out of my left eye. So I went to as soon as the fight got over, the UFC doctor took me to his personal lab, and he probed the crap out of my eye, make sure he knew what was wrong and all that. So we scheduled a surgery the very next day, and the surgery is where he takes this little latex tube and puts it down into my tear duct, and then basically the tear duct would heal around the tube, and then I would still have a tear duct. Well, he couldn't get the tube in, so he just basically had to sew up the tear duct. And he told me that everybody has 2 tear ducts in each eye, and you can live pretty comfortably without any complications with only one. If they're both gone, then you kind of have complications. So, I'm only missing one, so I should be fine. But the funny thing is he told me 10 years working with the UFC, he has never seen this in a fight. He's never seen it. He sees it all the time as personal practice, but it's with bad car accidents and dog bites.
Wow, that's crazy. And well, I guess it's a good thing that you're, still able to not only just fight but just function. You still have the other tear duct, as you mentioned. And from reports I saw from your PR representative Amanda Early, as well as some other reports from websites and stuff, it looks as though you could resume, contact training as early as the beginning of February.
Yeah, the doc told me 3 weeks, no contact, so I can train, I can lift, I can run, I can hit mitts, I can do all that, I can drill, but I can't have any contact. He doesn't want my face being smashed in, so no wrestling, no sparring. So I'm going to be getting back to training, because I feel like a lazy bum really fast. And after the 3 weeks, he said I can get ready for a fight. I can start sparring. I can do everything. So I'd like to fight February, March sometime. Sooner the better. And if I get a rematch, even better for me, because I feel unfulfilled about the fight. I was winning. I won. I won dominantly the first round. It's going my way. And I feel like, the show's not over. I want to fight him again.
Now, has your vision returned to that eye? You see out of it, no problems?
Yeah, I got all these drops I got to be putting in, and so that kind of messes it up. But as far as the eyeball itself, I got poked in it, and that's kind of what made it blurry then, but it's fine now.
Okay, so you don't have to wear any cool specs like myself?
No. And a lot of people that I've been talking to, when I run into them, they're like, "Oh man, I thought you'd have an eye patch. I thought you'd be like a pirate." So no eye patch, no pirate look going on.
If you fight KJ again, I think just to come out to the cage, you should wear an eye patch, just for some fun.
So that would be a good idea. I could do that.
All right. Well, looking at the round you did have against KJ, Dave and I were talking, and obviously Nunes being a former professional boxer, it seems as though you were throwing a lot more hands than we have usually seen in most of your UFC fights. Obviously, you're known for your kicks. Was that kind of a point of pride for you to kind of go in there and kind of match him at his own game with the boxing?
You know, like I said before, I'm constantly getting better. My hands are getting better. My flipping, my bobbing, my weaving. You know, I constantly work on everything. So you're going to see a different Daron every single time I fight. You know, especially depending on the fighter I'm coming up against. I just strive for perfection in everything. Now,
obviously, you mentioned you want that fight again. Is that the plan, as far as you know, to fight him again, possibly, like you said, in March, or, you know, would you mind fighting someone else?
I mean, I'll fight whoever they tell me to fight because, you know, in the end, they're the boss. But, I mean, deep down, I'd like to fight him again.
Now, of course, on that same night, one of your teammates, Randa Marco, she fought on the card. She fought Jessica Penne. Very hard-fought fight between her and Jessica. Of course, she came out just on the short end of the split decision. But what did you think of her performance in her fight?
I thought she did really well. I think she looked like like a different fighter. You know, she did a lot more striking. I feel, you know, being at the camp she's at, Michigan TUF team, we do a lot of striking, and a lot of drilling and predominantly, we're on our feet most of our fights. So I think over the months and the years when she's with us, you're going to see a whole different animal come out. You know, she just has to build up more confidence in her ability on her feet, and, you know, she's going to do really well.
Now, of course, I've seen you use it before. I believe you used it in your fight against KJ, but something that she used a couple of times was the spinning back fist, and it landed pretty successfully against Jessica Penne. Is that something you guys have kind of been, working on adding into like a regular routine in your striking?
Yeah, me, my pops, Michigan TUF team, we've been adding a lot of weapons to her arsenal, so you got to watch out. I can't wait for her to fight again. Now,
just looking at the scoring, I had her fight 1-1 heading into the third. I thought she came out strong for the third, but then the last minute and a half, maybe two tops, that's when Jessica got that takedown and was landing a lot of damage. And do you think kind of that lasting impression of Jessica being on top, landing damage, do you think that kind of swayed the judges in her favor instead of Randa's?
Oh, it 100% does. Yeah, I mean, you could. I've seen it so many times where somebody is losing the fight, three-quarters of the fight in, and then just has a spectacular ending and steals it. You know, like you could be winning 4 out of the 5 minutes of each round, and you know that last minute, your opponent comes out like a hurricane and just steals it every single time. So you gotta. It's a 15-minute fight. It's not. It's to me. I always look at it as 15 minutes of fighting, not 3 5-minute rounds. You have to be fighting the whole time.
Now, of course, when you fought in Vegas, that was the first time you had been there since your first ever UFC fight, almost exactly 2 years ago, and at the same place, the Palms. Was it kind of cool to be back there? 2 years from when you first fought in the UFC, same arena, but now on the main card, you've been in the UFC, you've had over 8 fights with the organization. Was it kind of cool to be back there and kind of look back and see what you've done in the past 2 years?
Oh yeah, it was really cool. It was cool because that's where I fought my finale fight. That's where I got initiated into the UFC, and to see all the girls doing the same thing and kind of what I went through. It was cool to see, oh my gosh, I'm not the super new kid on the block, so it was really cool.
Now, of course, a lot of other great fights on that night there in Vegas at the Palms. Was there any other fights that kind of maybe stood out, that was a good one to watch, or that was a good performance?
Well, I watched Randa's when I was in the back warming up. I watched Joe Proctor's, which unfortunately he took a spin sidekick that put him down. But other than that, I didn't get to see all the fights I was concentrating on myself, and then after, I couldn't see anything. So, I can't really touch on any of them.
Now, of course, like I said, first time in Vegas in a couple of years. Did you enjoy yourself, out there in Vegas? This time around, like I said, a couple of years, after your first fight, where you kind of already have those, jitters out of the way, you can kind of be yourself a little more this time.
Yeah, this was the first fight in the UFC that I've ever had that I didn't have to do anything all week. I didn't have any photo shoots. I didn't have any interviews. I didn't have to do anything. I rented a car. I went to the Zombie Apocalypse store a couple times. I drove, I walked around the strip. I actually had a pretty relaxing, good time in Vegas.
Now, did you do the zip line there in downtown Vegas on Fremont Street?
I did not do the zip line. Maybe when I was a kid, I think I did it, but no, not this trip. I gambled, played a lot of roulette this weekend. I came out, I think, like $200 ahead, so that's good. They paid for the rental car.
That's not bad. I think I ended up gambling probably when I was there, I want to say I gambled $75 and I won 35 of it back. So I came out down there at the Palms. They got me.
They got you.
Of course, you're training at Michigan Top Team. I know you guys were looking for a new space. Are you still in the process of looking for a new place?
Oh yeah. We're constantly looking. We just gotta. There's a building out there that's calling our name. We just have to find it.
Now, of course, the holidays are coming up. Christmas just a week away. Is there anything that you're looking forward to getting for Christmas?
Well, there's a gun and knife show this weekend in Novi, Michigan that I will be going to. So hopefully I can find something for myself.
I would think so. That place is pretty big. There's got to be something that'll tickle your fancy.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Of course, the New Year's coming up, 2015. Are you doing anything special for New Year's, going down to the Red Wings game or anything?
I'm sure I'll find something to do. I gotta probably prepare some Christmas parties and some other stuff. But as far as getting crazy, I'm so motivated to fight again. I'm not one to do a lot of drinking or anything, and I got it out of my system in Vegas. So I'm more geared to fight. Let's fight. I want to fight again 5 times this year and just smash people's face in.
That was my next question there. Obviously, we talked to you just about every fight, and we got you at the beginning of this year. I think that was when you took on Mike Rio, if I'm not mistaken. You said you wanted to fight 5 times. You wanted to win 5 times. And, of course, you fought 5 times. You won 3. You lost the 1. And then this one, like you said, no contest. It's not a win. It's not a loss. But does that change, how good of a year you've actually had, or not really?
It would have been much better, about 17,000 better, if I would have won. So yes, it would have changed.
So is that looking at 2015 for your career, is that the same goal? Try to fight 5 times and try to win 5 times?
Yes, 100%.
Now, of course,
after this year, I want to be breaking into the top 10 rankings.
And kind of speaking a little bit of your division, of course, Anthony Pettis just recently successfully defended his title for the first time against Gilbert Melendez. He's now looking to take on Rafael Dos Anjos. Some people have also mentioned Khabib Nurmagomedov's name in there. Just kind of looking at some of the top guys, is that what you think maybe a matchup you want to see, Rafael Dos Anjos against Pettis, or does it not bother you or matter to you that much?
I'm pretty selfish. It doesn't really matter to me. It'll matter when I get up there, and then it's going to be my name that they're going to be throwing up there.
Now, of course, one thing that's going to happen in 2015 is the new uniform deal the UFC has signed with Reebok, with starting in July. All UFC fighters during the fight week will be wearing the Reebok fight gear. Is that something, obviously you've got the letter in the mail, is that something you're a fan of? Are you looking forward to wearing some Reebok gear, or do you kind of like the way it has been so far in your career?
Well, I don't know how it's going to affect me because I haven't been really informed on how it's really going to work a whole lot, or so we'll see. I mean, I don't make a ton of money in sponsors anyway, so if they take the stress away from me having to look for sponsors and stuff and dealing with sponsors, then that's awesome.
Now, are you a fan of like Reebok in general, or does it not really, you like Nike, or does it not matter to you?
I'm not a brand guy. Like I don't just wear something. Like if it looks good on me, I wear it.
All right, and the last question I got for you, Daron. Now, there's been this UFC class action lawsuit that has been kind of gaining some steam, and finally some fighters, mostly former fighters, have been attached to it, including former UFC champion Carlos Newton. We also have Kung Lee, John Fitch, and Nate Quarry are attached to this, and they're trying to sue for back money, hundreds of millions of dollars to the UFC. And in my personal opinion, we'll get your thoughts in just a second, I think they're going about trying to get change and money the wrong way. I think if they're going to progress change, they got to sit down in a room with the UFC, hash things out with a mediator, maybe start a union. That's kind of how things, in my opinion, are done in this country, not just suing people, because I think the lawsuit could potentially hurt or even bankrupt the UFC, which to me defeats the purpose of trying to change any sort of grievances that these fighters and maybe other fighters have. And I was just wondering if you had any thoughts on this potential lawsuit that is coming to the UFC.
Yeah, I've watched one video on it. And I think it's the guy that's actually doing it. I don't know. I mean, if it changes and we make more money, then awesome. But like, you don't bite the hand that feeds you. I'm not gonna bash that we don't make enough money or anything like that. Like I'm just trying to, I'm a dog trying to get a bone.
Absolutely. All right. Well, Daron, thanks again for coming on the show. Again, hope speedy recovery there with the eye, and look forward to seeing you fight again. And it was great seeing you and the whole Michigan top team crew out in Vegas.
Yeah, it was awesome. All right. Thank you.
All right. Once again, that was the Detroit superstar Daron Cruickshank right here on Beyond the Cage, presented by Fight Chicks.